Rules and rulings. This is a topic that has been a lot on my mind lately, so let's discuss it for a bit. Over the years, I have evolved from an annoying, pedantic rules lawyer to someone who's a bit more relaxed and who leans more towards rulings. I've also written two rule systems of my own, and I try to be as rules light on them as possible, but I always find myself falling back and putting more rules in there. I don't think I have to explain what rules are, so let's just go ahead and discuss the advantages and disadvantages of having a strict rule set. Rules give your game a structure. They make it more of a game. They open the opportunity to get good at that game and to actually make character builds. Rules also take some of the responsibility off the GM's shoulders, so he can just apply the rules as they are and doesn't have to come up with as many rulings himself. What are the disadvantages of having a strict rule set? Since you're relying a lot on the rules, you have to learn them and know them, or maybe even have to look them up during a game so you can follow the rules. Since rules make it feel more like a game, people will try to get good at that game. That can lead to power gaming and the abuse of rules and even outright cheating. People might try to use the rules against a GM's ruling to gain an advantage in a situation in the game. I actually used to be that player. I'm not very proud of it. Later, I would remind the GM of the rules if they were to my benefit or my detriment, and my fellow players, which I think they didn't really like. And nowadays, I only remind people of the rules if I think they really would like to know what the rules say. Lastly, strict rules force both the players and the GM into a kind of corset, limiting their creativity, what they can and can't do. At least if you're of the mindset that if it's not in the rules, you can't do it. Rulings is a concept I only recently came across myself, like 1 or 2 years ago. Supposedly, one of Gary Gygax's greatest regrets was that they put so much rules into second edition D&D instead of relying on rulings, which had made original D&D so much fun. So, what do I mean by rulings? Rulings are GM judgments and interpretation of the rules depending on the situation. Original D&D didn't have a lot of rules, so when your PCs wanted to vault a chasm with a 10-foot pole while wearing boots of speed, you had to come up with the appropriate roll for that yourself. Or you could even skip the roll completely if your player's plan and their description of it is so good you think it should just succeed. Like when they are poking for pressure plates with a 10-foot pole to spring a trap from a safe distance. A 10-foot pole is a surprisingly useful kit of equipment. And of course, the other way around. If your players describe something that you think will inevitably lead to a bad situation, you can just let it happen without letting the players roll to save themselves. What is the advantage of using rulings instead of rules? When using rulings, you don't have to rely on having rules for every possible situation. So you can get by with having very little rules, meaning you don't have to learn a lot of rules and you don't have to reference them during the game. They encourage creative problem solving and engagement with the game world itself, since for most situations and problems you won't find a solution in the rules, but rather in your interaction with the game world itself. Rulings give a lot of flexibility and power to the GM to run the game they actually want. They also give a lot of flexibility to the players to create characters and play them in a way that they actually find interesting. But what are the disadvantages of rulings? If you're an inexperienced GM, it might be hard to make a good ruling, a good judgment, and it might feel uncomfortably to make this call and take responsibility. If you are an inexperienced player, or even one that is used to play with a strict rule set, you might find yourself unaware or even overwhelmed by all the possibilities you have to solve a problem, and just fall back on the few options that are actually giving in the rules, seriously limiting the kind of actions you can take. Rulings put a lot of power in the hands of the GM, so if the GM fails to use this power, the game fails. But I feel that this is the case in a game with lots of strict rules as well, since the GM still has the control over the game world. If the GM doesn't have that power anymore, he could just as well play a board game. I feel there's a gradient there, coming from a board game with a strict set of rules that you can get good at, that you can win, all the way to a free-form role-playing game where the players just describe what their characters are doing and the GM judges and describes the consequences of their actions. Nothing is wrong with either approach, but I personally feel a rule strict system limits my creativity, and I find myself enjoying more and more systems with very simple rules like an OSR, or very narrative focused games like Fate. I'm into RPGs mostly for the role playing. The game aspects are secondary to me. I don't like board games that much. So, what is your take on this? Do you lean more towards the gaming aspects of role-playing games? What is your favorite use of a 10-foot pole? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and goodbye.